standing on a balcony at the flat that I'd got. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm topping myself right now. Started getting really busy with all these different gyms and stuff like that before it got too much. You know,
when did it get too much? Then was that the point where you had because you had quite a harsh accident and stuff? Yeah. Was that the breaking point, or was it before that?
That was the breaking point. But I left Snap Fitness, eventually left K Leisure, started working between Southside and my gym. But even at that, this was after the proverbial accident, you know. So I remember one day, Snap Fitness, I was on prep, bodybuilding prep or something, I think at the time. Snap Fitness, 5 a.m. open up, client, class. Make sure you leave at 11 to get to Clydeside to drive to Southside to work from maybe like 2 till 4, 2 clients. And then from 5 till 9 down at like Ayrshire, clients night. And I was doing that day every day.
And repeat.
And then driving back to Largs to stay at my mum and dad's. And I would drive up to Glasgow in the morning. Eventually, I was fucked. It was horrible, man. And I ended up moving to a flat in Annie's Land with a couple of mates. Bad environment, drugs, poor quality food, all this and all. It was really...
Just that bachelor's pad.
Aye. Call it a bachelor's pad, Christ.
It's the first time guys have lived on their own type of vibe.
Horrid, mate. Horrid. That's a story for a different day. But yeah, really kind of burnt out, poor quality environment for living in. And I was living that day. Like you're talking 14-hour days and stuff, working, traveling, driving. And I was driving to the gym one day down in Ayrshire off the back of a working a morning shift. I was just like struggling to keep my eyes open. And I eventually just was like, 1 wee second, just close them. It might refresh them. They felt really dry. And I just fell asleep at the wheel. Woke up down a ditch after being in a head-on collision, going at like 65 miles an hour. And was like lucky to be alive, straight up, man. I've got a photo on my phone that I look back on. Car is fucked.
To remind you,
yeah, car is fucked, and like people in the ambulance, I got pulled out because it was like a busy morning, like people commuting to work. So a guy got out of his car and pulled me out the car. It's like, bro, like, are you okay? Like, I've got to go to work, but like, I looked at the road. It was like the fucking road was like
full of metal and
wheels and window and stuff, and I was like, Jesus fuck, and I was covered in all this liquid, but it was just loads of dregs of coffee cups and cans of Monster, and I thought it was blood. You know, I was like, holy fuck. I was on such an adrenaline pump. The ambulance guy said because you fell asleep, you were super relaxed, so the impact didn't like shock your body. And luckily the car that I, head-on collision with crashed into, because it was kind of like one of those Mini Cooper, but the XL ones.
Right, okay.
Tank for a car. Yeah. So what I'd done that, and I clipped that, and my car just done.
So you're sour, or you're flipped,
and just fucking went, and his kind of went off to the side, but mine just bosh right into it. And luckily there was only one other car got involved, but I remember I stood up straight away. Once I kind of came out from being knocked out, I ran over to the guy and just hugged him. And I was like, I'm so happy you're going to be able to go home to your family today and, do this, do that. He was a bit shooken up. I think he was maybe crying a wee bit. I was definitely crying. He never pressed charges, luckily. He obviously knew I was sorry. Young guy. Ambulance, sitting in the back, eyes, vitals and stuff. I was like, fuck. And I remember taking a photo of my mum and dad. They came along to get us. My dad's like, what the fuck?
What's your dad like at this point? Is there a lot of judgment from your dad, or is he supportive? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
Dad kind of keeps himself to himself. you know, if he's upset or if he's angry, but he's generally a very caring man. You know, very, very similar to me. I think get a lot of traits and personality from him. But I think he was just happy to know I was all right. And I was like, can you guys drop me off at the gym? I've got clients to see. They're like, nah. Phone your clients, tell them what's happened. Coming back to the house, which you just need to chill. But the kind of mindset I was in back then, you know, I just wanted to continue working.
I just work
after fucking being in a head-on collision. Wild. I saw the money. I was like, I need to fulfill this because I've got this point to prove or person to see or client to help. It's like I didn't care about me. I was just literally like, I didn't even care about me at all at that time, you know. I just wasn't looking after myself.
I was going to say, you think you're running from anything or you're masking anything? Do you think it's a money thing at this point?
Yeah, and insecurity, a point to prove, money to make, status, anything. Just self-validation, like a self-fulfilling prophecy that wasn't no one else was cared about but me. And I remember going home, sitting, and then just rolled up a joint and dealt with my problems the way I always did. Smoked a joint. My mum came out to the garage and she's like, are you smoking a joint already?
After the crash? Right.
I was like...
That's your coping mechanism then?
Coping mechanism. Life, yeah. It was like my wee fucking baby bottle. Because it's what I used throughout all 15. Of it for years and years and years to deal with any stress. You know, happy, joint. Sad, joint. Hungry, get a joint first before you eat. Not hungry, joint, cool, pass the time.
What was like relationships like with clients? Were you just like this yoga, chilled out, strength and conditioning coach?
Yeah, pretty much.
Baggy, like cargos.
I had a long man bun.
Right. Oh, so you did actually. I've seen one of your old YouTube videos.
Long man bun. Very holistic.
Holistic, yeah.
as the word we spoke about earlier. Cared, listened, gave sound advice, I thought. Was present, was there. Cared a lot about my clients. Gave a lot to every single session, never cut corners, never wasted time. Educated, inspired. But by the end of the day, I was fucked. Used to give everything to them. You know, gave everything to my clients every single day. And that burned me out as well. You know, I used to do the 6 in the morning, 9 at night. Full, you know, the most amount of clients I worked with at one time when I was PT, I was doing 70 sessions a week. It's not. I
remember those days, but it's because you never dream of training people for a living. You're like, man, this is a great job. It's weird. It's like almost like I always say to like Jill, because I come home at night after PTing, like when I was doing these 10-hour days, 10 sessions, and I'd come home, she's like, how's your day? And I was like, I can't speak. I have no social battery. Bro. But see, if it was a session, doesn't matter what I felt like, I had this superpower switch on. I was like, where does that come from? It's like weird. Because I've even said to Jillian about this, is like, we'll have like arguments because I'm maybe not being there in the relationship. Yeah. But then she comes up to the gym and I've turned it on for a client. She's like, we're not giving them the attitude. And I'm like, you're right. I actually need to work on this. Fuck, like, why is that? Why is it so different when we're with our clients and then when we're with ourselves, it's not there.
It's crazy, man. I relate to that massively because I used to come home. My mum would ask me, like, how was coaching today or how was this? And I was like, Mum, I cannot speak to you.
It's frustration, isn't it? You're trying to work through it.
Yeah, like, you know, have to fucking smoke a joint to, like, chill.
That's where irritation and all that's coming out. Yeah.
And then after I smoked a joint, I could go and sit with my family and be like, hi.
Yeah, man.
How's it going?
Yeah. You just understand it all. So what happened after that then? Did you've mentioned a couple of times that you went to therapy and all this sort of stuff. Does this happen later on in your life?
I think the crash kind of kicked something off for me, you know. Definitely kicked something off for me, allowed me to maybe be like, life's precious. I'm not religious, but I definitely felt someone was kind of watching over me that day, or I got like a second chance, which is mad. It was like fucking 2 lives or some shit. I don't know, but
I'm not a religious guy, and I think I don't know. Me and James used to go into this debate. I think everything just happens, and we can make whatever it is we make of it. But yeah, he sounds like you're incredibly lucky, both to not have killed someone, but not have killed yourself as well. Yeah, I think the guilt must be.
I carried a lot of guilt for a long time off the back of that. Didn't want to tell a lot of people. Like, it was very like, keep this to your fucking self kind of thing. Was told by people, don't tell folk this. But that made me feel really guilty.
It's like internal judgment.
Yeah, it's like I felt pretty bad for a long time. Felt pretty low self-worth and stuff. But after all that, you know, I was still seeing Amy at the time and stuff. Actually, and this is how bad I felt for a long time, continued like smoking. We try to push people away from me, you know, and push my friends away from me, push Amy away, try to break up with her and stuff. But you know, she's quite a powder. She keep coming back, wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah. When did you meet Amy?
I met Amy. She was working in a restaurant.
You skate up, kick flip.
No,
That's how it's done.
This was around about 19.
Right.
You know, I've been with her 7 years, known her 7 years now. Yeah, so I'm at 19. She was working at a restaurant. My friend was working at that restaurant too, and I was like, bro, who's that?
Class.
She's like, this girl that comes down. She goes to uni in Stirling, but works here on the weekend because her family lives here. And I was like, I need to get to know her. So I just like went up to her and started chatting. Patched me straight away, pied me. But then I keep coming in,
persistent.
Keep coming into the restaurant, persistent with everything I do, and keep saying hi. And one day, like, she got a right beamer and then she was like, "Fuck, maybe I do like him. Because why am I so embarrassed?" And then she came around, and then I had her in the trap.
And that was it. That was it.
7 years later, fiance, best friend.
Business partner. Yeah. I think it's class how that relationship's evolved, which we'll come on to in a wee sec. So you're pushing everyone away from you at this point in life. Like, when did you turn that around? When did you start realising that?
Keep digging down more holes, mate. Keep getting worse and worse mentally because I keep smoking. Had the car crash, and then where were you training at this point? You trained at still kept the gym down in Ayrshire in Mind Body. And I just keep working. Like, off the back of it, I was like, maybe I'll change the way I work. I just said to my clients, I'm fine again. And just went straight back into like normal business,
60.
working loads of hours. I got tireder and rattier and more frustrated. And I was working for another company as well, an online coaching company.
Oh, this is the MTM as well, yeah.
And it was a lot. It was like on top of my current job, and then taking on them. That was a fast growing egg at the time, you know. I was just like keep catching in these little fans and like going really quickly with so much growth. I couldn't even handle it, and while I felt so fucking like down about life and anxious and angry, it was just frying my brain, like doing so much, doing so many things. And there was a day, I was standing on I think it was just before lockdown or during. I think it was before lockdown happened at this time. I was standing on a balcony at the flat that I'd got. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm topping myself right now. Like, I was like, nobody cares. I don't care. I need out of this. Because I felt like the life I'd built, if this is what I thought being successful was like, or had to be like, I don't want to be successful, but I don't want to not be successful. So the only way is to not live. It was like almost like live by the sword, die by the sword. It's like you either want it and you'll muster through, or you don't want it, so you don't have nothing. And that was like the ego thing. That was like the validation thing. It was like, if I can't be a successful coach, working with this many people, helping this many people, have my own facility, working for this company, I'm not anything. Like, I'm not worth anything. My friends don't not deserve me, but I don't deserve my friends. I don't deserve nothing. So I may as well this was the mindset. I was super toxic, like super fucking toxic. So I was like, right, I'm going to fucking jump. And I was going to do it that night. I was on the balcony for ages, going through loads of things in my head. And my friend was at the house, like he stayed with me, and he came through as like literally as I was going to do it. He was like, "Do you want to pass this joint?" And I was like, turned around and I was like, maybe one. And then I went, he was like, come on through the living room. No, actually, he came through to the balcony and like came to the place I was going to do it and sat in the seat. We just smoked a joint and chatted, and it really fucking obviously talked me off the ledge pretty much. And I didn't tell him I was going to do it.
Do you know?
I don't know, man. You knew I was seeing red for a long time, man. Like, if I was a fucking like angry guy, stressed guy, angry guy, tired person. But he knows that now, and it blew his mind. Because he's been through a lot of shit before, and I've helped him, but he never knew he'd helped me on that level.
It's another one of these weird coincidences that seem to have gave you that second chance.
Yeah.
So what happened at that point? Do you think that just allowed you to zoom out a little bit and go, right, actually, why don't you work on changing something?
Yeah. But again, super stubborn, didn't want to change. Just kept doing shit. And I had to like really break down. I think it was a car crash, then it was a potential, jump off balcony, to then crying when a client came in once. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Was it? Right.
Client came in one day and just said, like, how are you?
I don't want to do 8 reps.
It's like, she literally with training. She came in, you hug your client, female or like guy or whatever.
Show like a bit.
And I was obviously like carrying a lot of stress, like oxidative stress, and that way when you like struggle to breathe, you're like, you can't really catch yourself. I felt that way for ages. So I was like a ticking time bomb. And a client just came in one day, lovely summer morning. She was all chipper. She's like, Lewis, how are you? And I'm like, I just burst out crying, man. Couldn't compose myself. Could not compose myself. And for that session, she took me a walk. We chatted a wee bit. I was overwhelmed. And off the back of that, I was like, fuck. I need to change, man. I need to change now. I need to change forever. So I just literally changed everything. I literally changed everything that day.
Aye.
Yeah. And cancelled the rest of my sessions for the rest of the day. Cancelled the payments for the flat, moved everything home, moved everything to my mum and my dad's, just moved, like, stopped everything. And I remember it was like a full circle moment. And I was like, quit the company, quit MDN, like, stop coaching, threw everything away.
You give up the gym at this point as well?
I held on to it, but I was like really lowered everything, like cancelled a lot of clients and paused a lot of hours and took time. And I remember I was sitting at a single bed back at my mum and dad's, looking around my room.
Old like, teddy bears and toys and stuff. Yeah.
Almost like a full circle moment. I was like, time to restart. And I just took time for me. Took a lot of time to spend with my family and go long walks and just think, man, and tidy up my diet, get more rest, get more sleep, breathe, and just try to kind of sort my head out, man. Took a proper mental health month. And it took time, man, but I came back with a fucking bang off the back of that.